What's happening? Mattmade here. The Messenger is a really interesting title that when announced, I just knew was going to be a hit, and I had to get my hands on it. Its art style, music, and gameplay are so different and unique. So let's get into the review and see if the game meets expectations or if it's just more ninja nonsense. The Messenger is an action platformer developed by Sabotage and published by Devolver Digital. It was released on August 30th, 2018. For my review, I played the Switch version. The story of the Messenger starts with an unnamed ninja. You live in a village and train day in and day out for an attack from demons you believe will never happen. Well, in true gaming fashion, as you're complaining about this to your master, the demon army appears and begins laying waste to the entire area. All of your ninja buddies and your master are killed in the attack, and you seek to avenge them by going and slaying the demons. However, as expected, the Demon King and his army are too much for you, and you're saved by a mysterious hero called the Western Hero. Inventive, I know. Anywho, the Western Hero hands you a scroll and sends you up the mountain to deliver it to the sages. The Messenger takes inspiration from games like Strider and Ninja Gaiden. It is hard. You're punished for making mistakes, and boy, will you make a lot at the start. In the spirit of Ninja Gaiden, every move you make is important, and getting hit at the wrong time can lead to your untimely death. This game definitely isn't for the faint of heart. The mountain is perilous, and at the start, you don't have any tools at your disposal. You have your katana, and that's about it. You do have your Cloud Walker technique, which allows you to jump a second time in the air if you hit an enemy or an object. This would be your major means of movement, and mastering this skill is critical. However, you won't just have your trusted katana for long. As you progress through the game, you're given tools by a hooded shopkeep that make traversing the levels a lot easier. On top of which, you also have upgrades that make you deadlier and more resilient. From more health to being able to knock away enemy projectiles, these upgrades make life a lot easier and will mitigate some of the more avoidable deaths. The casts and characters are fun and entertaining. The shopkeep is both informative and condescending. The bosses all have their own quirks and motivations. Even dying is made less frustrating because instead of simply seeing a game over screen, you're saved right before death by a creature named Quarble. Every time you die, he says something different and insulting. From saying that you meant to die just to see him, to saying that it was due to input lag. This cast of characters will really give the game life and make it more than just a difficult platformer. Diving deeper into the characters, the shopkeep can give you more info about the stage as well as the bosses. If you talk to him a few times, he even tells you a story that your character tries, and always fails, to decipher it. Most of the stories themselves have no real moral or meaning other than the shopkeep screwing with you and wanting to make puns. Every time you die and Quarble rescues you, he then follows you around until you settle your debt, or runs away because he gets to the boss. He will eat your time shards, the currency in this game, and you won't be able to collect them for yourself until he goes away. To top it off, he counts how many time shards you've given him and how many deaths he has saved you from. He's really such a dick, but it's so entertaining and fun that you kinda don't mind. In this game, there's a certain point where everything changes. Quite literally. Once you finally make it up to the summit, your journey is far from over. You're then sent forward in time, which not only changes your outfit and the setting of the game, but also the entire game changes from 8-bit to 16-bit. This has to be one of the coolest transformations in all of gaming. To top it off, you get this sweet hat. Like, look at this hat. From this point, the tone in the game completely shifts. Where things were seemingly lighthearted and fun, they now become more serious and the boss is more villainous. On top of which, it feels like there's a bit of a difficulty spike at this point. The game is a lot less lenient when you make mistakes, and you'll find yourself dying repeatedly at the same spot if you aren't careful. What was a hard game becomes an even harder game at this point. The controls feel amazing in this game, which is really important since you have to jump and attack with almost pixel perfect precision. At the start, you can only attack in front of you, and you cannot deflect projectiles with your katana, so for the first level, you really need to be careful, as one projectile at the wrong time can end you. However, as you move on, you get other items and skills that let you do things such as wall cling and glide over distances. These tools enable you to get to areas where you couldn't before, and the glide can be upgraded in the shop to allow you to strike downward while gliding, making it possible to stay in the air almost indefinitely. There's even a hook shot that you can use to pull yourself to enemies and walls, a la Legend of Zelda. Speed is key in this game. Moving slow or taking too much time can lead to you making mistakes. Every jump, swipe, and hook needs to be well timed and precise. The music in this game is dope. It's amazing. Like, even if hard platformers aren't your thing, you can enjoy this soundtrack. The music really gets you pumped and gives you a sense that you gotta go fast. Yep, gotta put in that Sonic reference. Not only is this music amazing, but it feels totally unique. It doesn't sound like a rip or like they drew inspiration from anything else. So if you just like good music, which you should, unless you're a heathen, then you will love the soundtrack of The Messenger. Visually, the game is stunning. Whether this is due to the strength of the current hardware, the way the stages are designed, or simply just the artwork looking good, this game is gorgeous. Both the 8-bit and the 16-bit sections look great. Each level is bright and vibrant, the enemies are unique and colorful, and the bosses, both big and small, are really cool looking and menacing. The boss at the top of the tower has to be my favorite. It's bright, colorful, and cool looking. Even the map is good looking. It gives you a total layout of the areas you have traversed, and each section is vibrant and shines in all of its pixelated glory. Each enemy has their own attack patterns and look. No two types move the same, giving them diverse attack patterns to navigate through, and they're all mixed together and trying to take you out. Defeating each enemy is relatively simple. Most take 1 or 2 hits to kill, however there is one enemy who's just tanky for no reason. This may be just to throw you off and keep you on your toes, however I couldn't say. The one thing I did have an issue with the enemies was that when you defeated them, they'd respawn once their spawn point was off screen. Meaning that if you got hit and fall down a cliff or off a ledge, then all of the enemies that you had previously defeated would be back waiting for revenge. The bosses in this game are also very interesting. Each has their own reasons for fighting, and each one's attack pattern is wholly their own. Learning when to attack and when to dodge is very important. Even the stages are designed to give a sense of who the boss is and how they will look. As I said before, if you speak with the shopkeep, he will give you a bit of info about the boss. This can be very helpful when you're about to face off with him. Also, there are techniques that you can exploit in order to make the boss fight a lot easier. Finding these can make your fight almost a breeze, and I don't know if they were left in on purpose or if the devs just didn't notice them. Late in the game, there's another point where you get to go back to all of the previous sections you visited, and this time you have portals that will switch between the past and the future. This leads to some of the coolest puzzles I've ever done. Jumping through portals and hitting these time fireflies to get to sections you couldn't before is amazing. With the inclusion of a hub world that allows you to go to any level, it turns the game from a standard difficult platformer to something more akin to a Metroidvania. There are all sorts of secret areas and collectibles in the game, some of which that you will need to get in order to progress. On top of which, being able to go back and forth to areas you have visited to see how things look and are different is a great concept. There's a section in the game where you go back to the beginning and you can go through your portal to get back to almost the start of the game in the past and talk to your master and get an item from him. It's really cool, and I just enjoy that they thought about that. The Messenger is not just a tribute to platforming days gone by. It is an evolution and an improvement upon the genre. From its fast-paced and precise platforming to its quirky and interesting characters, it is a game that if you aren't going to play yourself, you should definitely watch someone else struggle through, which, believe me when I say you will struggle to get through the game. But you'll be struggling with a smile on your face and while nodding your head to the amazing soundtrack of this game. So if you're a fan of platformers, old school games, or dope soundtracks, then I cannot recommend this game enough. But what do you think? Have you played The Messenger? Are you a fan of old school platformers? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget, if you're a fan of gaming, consider striking that subscribe button. This is Mattmade, and I will see you guys tomorrow.